Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my beginning of the year WIP Parade, which is a little bit late. It's currently almost the end of January, but better late than never. At the beginning of the year I was sick, and then I also wasn't sure how I wanted to order my projects in my WIP Parade because I don't really keep my projects in oldest to newest order. And I also kind of wanted to arrange them based off of how often you might see them this year. So my WIP Parade is going to be starting off with the projects you'll most likely see the most, and then it will be ending with everything that I don't really have plans for to work on this year. So you might not see it that much this year, and you know, it's just the way it is because I currently have 31 WIPs. WIPs stands for work in progress, and I am at a point where I can't work on all of them in a year. It's too hard, especially because I have mostly full coverage projects. I counted one time and I have 31 WIPs, and I think over 20 of those are larger full coverage projects. I did recently quit 2 full coverage projects, which I have not talked about in any of my update videos, but I will talk about it in my next update video because this is just supposed to be like a happy woo WIP Parade. So I will talk about the 2 projects that I quit in my next update video if you would like to hear that and my reasoning for that. Anyways, so to start with, I pulled out all of my WIPs. I took them out of the project bags. I stacked them in an order. I made a list. I like lists, so I made a list, and the starting at the top is going to be the project that will be worked on most, then the bottom is the least, and they're all listed in order, so hopefully I don't forget anything, because I had one WIP Parade where at the end I was putting things away and I was like, I didn't mention this project, and so I had to like hurry up and record a thing being like, I forgot this. So anyways, to start off with, we will be starting with one that has been shown a lot the last like year and a half, 2 years. That is Autumn Harmony. I will also mention, I will insert over here what everything will look like when it's finished, so the artwork. I will also insert what it looked like at the beginning of 2024 so that you can see if there was progress made. I think I worked on almost all of my WIPs last year except for 2 at the very end of the year did not get worked on because I had my WIPs on a WIPGO board to do 1,000 stitches when they were called. WIPGO is by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I can link to the WIPGO video that she has out that explains more about what WIPGO is, but there was 2 at the end of the year in December that I did not get to because in December I was trying to finish my HAED Stitch Along, which you'll see later. So Autumn Harmony, artwork by Maxine Gadd, and like I said, I'll insert over here what she looked like at the beginning of 2024, and here is where she is now. It's going to be really hard to show because she's pretty big. It's on an 18 count fabric. It's 2/1 full cross, so yeah, I think this piece of fabric is like 30 by 36, and she takes up a good chunk of it, and my goal for her is to get her finished this year. So like I said, she will be shown a lot this year. I think I still have 70,000 stitches left to do, so there is still a lot that I need to get done on her, but I do love working on her and I cannot wait to have her finished this year. So that was the first one. Next project that will be shown a lot this year, Little Gamer. Luckily this is a smaller full coverage. I'm also going to be trying to take needle minders off projects because I can never find needle minders when I need them, so I'm going to try and take them off and put them somewhere else. Little Gamer is artwork by Medusa Dollmaker, charted by Gecko Rouge. You can no longer find them available on Gecko Rouge, but you can find Medusa Dollmaker's artwork on her own website, which I will link down below. So Little Gamer I'm trying to finish this year. This is a smaller full coverage, so I think it's only 54,000 stitches compared to Autumn Harmony is a total of like 177,000 stitches, and Little Gamer is being stitched on a 25 count 2/1 half cross, and half cross is also referred to as tent stitch sometimes in cross stitch videos. I don't know why, I did not make up the terminology. And last year I think I did 23,000 stitches on Little Gamer. I had wanted to do 30,000 stitches and that just, it didn't happen. So, but I'm happy with what I got done. Like, I got most of the things done. So like this keyboard here is fully done. I finished Zelda. I finished Link last year. I also had finished filling in Mega Man, and so now I'm trying to really work on the background of this when I work on it because there is 19 or 18,000 stitches left of this light blue color in the background, so that's going to take me a long time to finish. The next chart that I'm going to be showing, which is the last of the charts that you will most likely see a lot throughout the year, is the HAED 2025 Stitch Along. HAED stands for Heaven and Earth Designs, which is a full coverage charting company. Full coverage, love full coverage. And the stitch alongs that they do, you have to sign up for them in December of the year before. So I signed up in December 2024, and then you can't sign up after December's over. So the signups ended, I think, partway through December, and then they have to like get everything ready. And the way their stitch along works is there are 12, I think, different charts this year. The previous year, I think there was 10. And you pick the one that you want to stitch, and then if you stitch a certain amount of pages, you'll get all the other stitch along charts. So in 2024, you had to stitch 4 pages. This year you have to stitch 6 pages, and they have to be full pages, not partial pages. And then you'll get all the other stitch along charts at the end of the year. And then if you finish the entire chart, you will get to pick any chart off of their website for free. So that's the way the stitch along works. Here I am doing Drinks on the Beach, which is artwork by Lars Stewart, and I picked this one because I love the colors. I don't have a lot of summary charts, and so this one was perfect. And I'm trying to keep up with finishing the 6 pages on this. So I have page 1 almost fully finished. The bottom portion is still not finished because I am leaving that until part 2 comes out, because part 2 will give me the row of pages that goes down here. Currently, we only have one part out, which is the top row, which is 3 full pages and then a partial page, I think. And so I did enough stitches to equal 1 HAED page, and then when February comes along, I will need to do another page and then keep trying to keep up on pages, doing like 1 page a month. And then hopefully I will be able to get the other stitch along charts because I really want 2 of the other stitch along charts. So also, this is being stitched on a 32 count 1/1 half cross using CXC floss. I got my CXC floss on a Etsy shop called Knotty, Knotty, Unicorn Crafts, I think was the name. And it's a shop that's actually located in the US because there are other places you can get CXC, but they're in the UK, or you can order it directly on AliExpress from shops that are in China, but it takes a really long time. So the next category of charts that I'm going to show is charts that I put onto a WIPGO board. I am going to possibly do WIPGO when I have the time to during a month. And what I ended up doing is I picked 5 charts that I wanted to go onto a WIPGO board, and then it went onto the WIPGO board. Each chart went on there 5 times. So hopefully these charts will get like a little bit more time throughout the year than I was originally planning on. And they are charts that are either my favorite charts, or they are ones that I would possibly like to finish after I finish Autumn Harmony and Little Gamer. So my favorite charts, let's go to and do the favorite charts first. I have 2 favorite charts that should not be like any surprise to anyone after I started them last year. They are both ones that I bought last year, and I love them. So the first one is Rose Library, which is by Ivy Dollamore, charted by Unconventional X Stitch. This is one where I think I was waiting like months for it to be charted and to come out because I saw that Ivy Dollamore had signed with Unconventional X Stitch, and they put up needle minders. They used to have needle minders. They had a fire last year. I don't know if they still have needle minders because they lost everything in the fire. But they used to put up needle minders when they would sign an artist, and that would be artwork that they would be eventually charting. So I saw the needle minder go up for Rose Library, and I was like, when that comes out as a chart, I knew I had to get it, and I got it as soon as it came out, and I started it right away. So here is my small, tiny little start on Rose Library, and I love it so much. I just love like all the colors and just all the things, the details that are going to be in this chart. And I also love their charting in that they don't use a ton of black. I don't think there was any black in this chart at all, which I really like because sometimes on charts you'll lose details by just having like areas that just turn into like black and brown blobs, and this does not have that. So I am very happy with this, and this is on a 25 count 2/1 half cross. My next favorite chart. Last year, RoseCon moved from Heaven and Earth Designs to Pain Free Crafts, and so her artwork was started to be charted by Pain Free Crafts, and I love so much of her artwork from Pain Free Crafts that they've charted so far. So what I have right now is Cozy Winter Book Nook. That's the one that I'm going to be trying to work on for WIPGO. There's also Dragon Race Into the Night was released by Pain Free Crafts, which I ended up buying that. And there is another chart that they had released. I can't remember what it was called, but there was another one that they released from RoseCon, and I love it because her artwork is just like super bright and colorful, has all the details, things that I love. So here is my start on Cozy Winter Book Nook. This is a 25 count 2/1 half cross, which is my favorite just because it's like, it's faster. And I do have a bunch of parked threads, and I do hope to work on this one a lot more. Also, I completely almost forgot that I had worked over, so that's not the full thing. I worked over last year during Flossmas, and I worked across the top lights here, and I went and started working on these flowers down here, and then there's a clock right here because I really want to work around the piece and then be able to work on different areas as I please. So prepare for that this year, that when it gets called for WIPGO, I probably will start working more just wherever I want to, just to try and get to some fun areas. The next 3 charts are ones that are possible things that I would like to finish soon coming up. The first one is Fables, which is also artwork by Medusa Dollmaker. I really love a lot of Medusa Dollmaker's artwork. And this one was also a Gecko Rouge kit from when they used to be available on Gecko Rouge. And I will insert, I think this one only got like a little over 1,000 stitches last year. I didn't write all that stuff down, but I'll put the before picture. And here it is now. I am stitching this on, I think it's another 25 count 2/1 half cross. And I really like this chart because it doesn't use a lot of colors. It's less than 30, I think. And it's just all shades of like blues, which are really pretty. So I love this one. I like how it's like not a ton of colors, but it's got a ton of details because I've seen this one fully stitched up, I think on the Gecko Rouge Facebook page, and it's very pretty. The next one, that's one that I would like to possibly have as a finish eventually, is Witcher. I think this might be the large version. I looked it up after the last time I talked about it. I think this is the large version, which is 90,000 stitches, and it's charted by Thread Geeks. And here is Witcher, the original Henry Cavill Witcher, not the new Witcher. I am not looking forward to when the new season comes out and it's not Henry Cavill as Witcher. And so this is one that I eventually would like to get finished. I don't know when though, and it's being stitched on a 25 count 2/1 half cross. And I'm also stitching Yennefer because I really love Witcher. I really love like fandom stitching, and I also would like to find a chart with Ciri in it, but I haven't found one yet with her. So when I do, because I want to find one that's like a similar full coverage, because Pinky the Pink does have some Witcher charts available, but those are not full coverage, and I would like something that kind of matches the full coverage that Witcher is and then that Yennefer is, and I haven't found one yet, so I would like to find one eventually though, and then have the 3 of them finished and hanging up. And the last one that's on the WIPGO board is Templar Prophecy, which is by Long Dog Sampler. I put it on the board of things that I would like to eventually finish because it's old. It is my oldest long dog. It might be one of my oldest WIPs at this point. I don't even know because I started it quite a while ago. I don't have the year written down or anything with me right now, and I don't make a lot of progress on this. Like the start that I have on this is pretty bad for the for how long I've been working on it. So here it is. I love the colors of what I'm doing. I just don't really love stitching on it because the fabric is a 22 count, and 22 count is kind of difficult sometimes, so yeah, it's not the funnest. I am stitching it on a fabric that I dyed myself, and so I love the fabric. I did try and dye a 18 count fabric to look similar, and it did not come out the same at all. So I'm kind of stuck with this fabric if I really want this color. And then the floss that I'm using is DMC 666 because it really just like pops. It's very bright. The lighting today is kind of weird too, so I apologize. Like it's sunny in Washington, which doesn't normally happen, and so it's kind of making things look a little weird. And I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross, so that needs some work on it so it can eventually be finished. And then we have everything else. Everything else is what I called the category for the things that I don't really have any plan to work on this year. I have a different WIPGO board where it's themed things, so like oldest WIP, newest WIP, a HAED and things like that. So when those get picked, then I can pick from these projects here to work on. All these. It's a lot. I am trying to whip down this year, so the fact that I quit 2, like I said, I'll talk about why I quit them in a different video. So the fact that I quit 2 and got myself down to 31, I am happy with. I am fine with the fact that I quit 2, and I still have so much to work on anyways that it's gonna take me a really long time to get whipped down. So we're gonna just jump right into these. I won't talk very much about these because, like I said, they won't be worked on very much this year. So first one, Tarot Town 2, which is artwork by Ciro Marchetti, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Last year, this was on my WIPGO board and only got 1,000 stitches, so there's not going to be a lot to show. And this is being stitched on a 28 count, 2/1 half cross. I did start it in the center because I don't think I'm going to stitch the background, so that's something. I'm trying to like figure out ways to make some of these charts go by faster, you know, because I have a lot of things that I want to stitch. So there's some charts that I've cropped. On some of them, you know, don't stitch the background, things like that. The next one is Walking in the Rain, which is by Artisy. This is the large cropped version, so there's a little bit less on it than the regular one. And this is one that I started in the top corner. I worked my way over to the edge just because I wanted to see like how wide it was. I think I was stitching using Royal Rose method for a while, which is where you stitch across the top and you fill in the spaces as you go, and then I change my methods all the time, and I do have a lot more of this corner filled in, and this is on 25 count, 2/1 half cross. And then we have Santa's on His Way, which is by Charting Creations, and I love Christmas, so I have a few Christmassy winter pieces. And this is one that I started in the center of the piece. I think I worked on it during Flossmas, so it's been shown recently-ish compared to other pieces. And I started in the center, worked up to the top, and then last year I was working on filling in these trees down here. I did not make very much progress on it though, because I mentioned before, I have a lot of whips. These things are getting in the way. I have a bunch of parked threads, and I have these things here called bobbies, and you wrap your parked threads around them, and it's supposed to keep them out of the way, but they're kind of in my way right now. So there's that. And this is on a 28 count, 2/1 half cross. And then we have Dragon Hall, which I did just work on recently last month for WIPGO, and that is by Long Dog Sampler. I started this chart last year, I think, so I don't have a beginning of the year picture of it because I started during last year, 2024. And here is Dragon Hall. I am switching all the colors. I switched them from the DMC that they were charted with to Anchor Floss that I had, and then I changed some of the tones because it had a thing of like DMC colors to use, but then it also had a list of like a fancy floss, and I looked it up, and the fancy floss colors were different from the DMC. So there was like some like pinks and stuff, and I was like, ooh, I would like to use some like pinks and purples, so I changed most of the colors. The fabric for this is Iron Ore. It's a 20 count, and I'm stitching 1/1, and this is from the sewingshop.ca. Their fabric is gorgeous. So there is Dragon Hall, and then there is Dear Alice, which is from Artisy. I love this artwork. There's a part of me that's tempted to restart this. It's on 18 count. I kind of want to start it on a 28 count. Just because it would go faster. I don't know. Tell me if I'm crazy. All I have done so far is some black on the bottom because I was trying to stitch this one using the black first, and it's so slow. So do I keep it on the 18 count or do I switch it to a 28? I also think that when I stitch on it next, I am going to give up the black, stitching the Extreme Cross Country by color. I think I'm just going to start stitching down here with some of the other colors and start filling in some of these bottom pages or something, because I am so tired of the black on this piece. This piece has a ton of black, and then because it's 2/1 full cross, it takes forever to get anywhere. So next is the 2024 HAED Stitch Along, which I was stitching the chart Merry Mushroom Village Picnic number 3, which is artwork by Amy Stewart. And last year I had to do 4 pages to get the reward charts, which I did get the reward charts. I've already received the other charts. I've already looked at the rainbow mushroom. I put it into Pattern Keeper. I love the rainbow mushroom from last year's stitch along. And so here is my 2024 stitch along. And this is one that if you have been following me for a while, in December, it was my December focus because I was trying to finish the 4 pages because I hadn't finished like 3 of the pages, I think. Something crazy. It was ridiculous. So there it is. I do need to finish this eventually. It is smaller-ish compared to some of my other charts, so it shouldn't be that hard if I just focus on it. But that's hard to do sometimes. Next is Heaven on Earth 2, which is another chart and creations piece. It's a little wintry themed piece, which I love winter, which I haven't even got snow this year, which is kind of disappointing. And here is Heaven on Earth 2. I like this one, but I'm gonna say this. I don't love it as much as some of my other pieces, just because, like, I love the artwork. It's not my favorite thing to stitch though, when the colors are not like super bright, like fun colors, if that makes sense. And it also, the background is boring. Like, I am at a point now where I try and buy charts that have just like fun backgrounds everywhere because I know that I don't like just cloudy sky things. So I will stitch it eventually because I do love the artwork. But yeah, it's one where I don't really feel as called to it as other charts. And it's on a 28 count, 2/1 half cross. The next one is Pokemon Switch, which is on a giant piece of fabric that I have some other charts on that are finished or not finished. And this is a piece of fabric. I'm just putting a bunch of like video game, anime themed charts onto one piece of fabric. And it's because I don't really like finishing things. I don't really like framing things or turning things into pillows. I don't like the actual process of like finishing the things once they're done with the stitching. So I figure if I just keep stitching on this one giant piece of fabric, I won't have to think about finishing it for a really long time. And it's a good way to just put some smaller charts because there are a ton of like small charts that I want to stitch off of like Sprite Stitch. So Sprite Stitch is a place where people will make like little patterns and then they will put them up on like their message board thing. And so like these ones are bleach and they were from Sprite Stitch. This one here is going to be Sailor Venus. That was also a pattern I think I found on Sprite Stitch. This one here though, the Pokemon Switch, is from Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy, which I love Glitch Stitch AU's patterns. I have a Stardew Valley pattern right there. That is from, it's a Glitch Stitch AU. I also have the Winter Stardew one up there, and I have the, which other ones? Summer, and then I have another one to do for spring, but I haven't stitched those yet. But I love their patterns. They have so many fun, cute patterns. So I would like to eventually get this done. This is on an 18 count, 2/1 full cross. And like I said though, this is something where I want to finish the Pokemon Switch and then there will just be things going on this fabric. So this is never going to be like a fully finished project because this is a big piece of fabric. I think it's a 30 by 36. So I can fit a lot of stuff on there. And I have plans to put a lot of different charts on there eventually. Next up is Mariner, which is another Maxine Gad piece. I think I have quite a few Maxine Gad pieces that I've bought, but I haven't started all of them because I can only start so many projects at a time. And I love the colors on this one though. It's so pretty and I love like the mermaidy look. So here is Mariner by Maxine Gad. I have thought about cropping the top a little bit because the top part has a lot of kind of boring background, so that is something that I am considering. But I did start with the face because I did want to see how the face turned out first, because faces on charts can sometimes be iffy on if they're going to be good or bad. And this is on 28 count, 2/1 half cross. But like I said, I have no plans right now for her this year, just because like for Maxine Gad charts, Autumn Harmony right now is my focus. And then the next piece is a small piece, and that is a chart called Northern Lights by Climbing Goat Design on Etsy. And this is one that I started because last year, as a lot of people also experienced, I saw the Northern Lights. And here is my Northern Lights chart, which I did say that I wanted to have it finished, I think by May of this year. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, just because I haven't been stitching as much, which I can talk about at the end of the video. And I think this is on an 18 count fabric, 2/1 full cross. And I love the colors. Love it so much. The next one is the board game Stitch Along, which is from, oh my god, my head's gonna blank, Taylor and Cromwell. And I saw that they were coming out with this Stitch Along, and it was like an instant purchase because I love board games, and I have not got very far on it though. So here is my tiny little start. It is set up Catan style, so it's got like the little tiles. Each tile will have a different board game in the tile, and the only thing I've done so far is the middle tile, which says Game Night. That's it. So I need to do a lot of work on that. I am stitching it on the fabric that was designed for the Stitch Along, and it's called Board Game from Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy, and I love the bright blue. It's a great fabric. And I got 18 count, I think, right? 16 count. I kind of wish that I had gotten a 28 count or something, because there are a lot of like partial stitches that were in the squares to get like all the details. And the next one that I will be showing is Medina Gates, which is by Cross Stitch the Globe from Etsy, and they are also on YouTube. And they came out with a book of patterns that are Game of Thrones inspired, and it's the real life places where Game of Thrones was filmed. So this is the one that I am stitching, and I love it. I'm not that far on it though, but the entire pattern is I think only 20,000 stitches, so it's not huge. And I am stitching it on an 18 count 2/1 full cross, and most of what I've got done so far is just like sky, so it's not super exciting so far, but once I get finished with the sky, then it will be more exciting. So there was that one. And next is Sanctuary, which is another Charting Creations piece. I love Charting Creations. I also just love this artwork because it's colorful and it's bright and it's got a ton of stuff, and it's artwork by Sheila Wolk, and I mentioned charted by Charting Creations. Here it is. I love the colors. It's bright. It's got a lot. The confetti though is kind of rough. There are a lot of color changes. There's a lot of colors that only have like 1 or 2 stitches, so you're changing colors all the time, but it's fine. And this is on a 28 count 2/1 half cross, and I love it. It's so bright. The next piece is my Yennefer piece, so this one is like matching Witcher, both from the Witcher show, the games, the books, however you want to get your Witcher fix. And Witcher is a piece that I am cropping. I cropped off a little bit from the side and the top, and I am stitching on a 28 count, and cropping off some of the sides and the top, I tried to get it to be closer to the size that Witcher will be when he's finished. So that was what I was trying to like aim for when I cropped it, is I was trying to make it like the same finished size as Witcher. So here is Yennefer. I am stitching this one with the black first, which I don't mind as much as on like Dear Alice. And I think part of it is because you see a lot more like coming to life, like how you see the straps on the dress, and then once you get to her face, the black outline will show like where the mask is, and so you see details even though you're not actually stitching like different colors. So for some reason it just doesn't bother me as much as it does on Dear Alice, because Dear Alice is just nothing. You're stitching chunks of black background. It's boring. And this is on 28 count 2/1 half cross. Next is Keyblades to the Kingdom, which is a stitch along by Stitchy Rin, and it's a Kingdom Hearts themed stitch along. I love Kingdom Hearts, and here is all I've done so far though. I was working across the top doing the words, and at first I was like, I will finish the words, but the words are all one color, and so I got tired of doing that, and then I did some of the Keyblades, which is a lot more fun. So the Keyblades are because in Kingdom Hearts that is what you use to fight. You use Keyblades, and then as you travel to different places you get like special Keyblades for like those unique areas and things like that, and that is what that is. This fabric is one that I dyed myself. I have talked a lot about how much I dislike the fabric because it's like a Michaels Aida, and it's pretty stiff after washing it. It's not as bad, but it's still, I would never call it soft. I will say that. Next I have the 12 Movie Nights of Christmas Stitch Along, which is from Atomic Tiki Pins on Etsy, and this was a Christmas movie themed stitch along, so each block has different Christmas movies to go in the block, and she also charted it with alternates, so if there is a movie you don't like, you can put a different movie into that block, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. This is a fabric that I dyed myself. I think it's an 18 count, something like that, 2/1 full cross, and I don't have a lot done. So there's the Santa Claus, up here. I don't know how well it's focusing. And then you have Christmas Story, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Grinch, Christmas Vacation. This one's going to be Charlie Brown, and Elf. Cute little elf. And then there's still a lot that I need to do, and I did want to finish it this year. That's what I said last year. I was like, in 2024, I was like, I will have this finished in 2025. I don't think it's going to happen, just because I'm not going to try and pressure myself to get it finished this year, but eventually, I would like it finished. Next is Christmas 2, which is a giant Heaven and Earth Designs piece. Artwork by Ciro Marchetti, and like I said, it's giant. I cropped off like 30,000 stitches off of one side. It's still huge. It's still like, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands of stitches. That's all I know. And this is being stitched on a 32 count 1/1 half cross. I used 32 count because I was hoping that it would make the finished size smaller, which yes it does, but it's still going to be a very large piece. And all I have done so far is, this is page 1, and it's not even fully finished, I don't think, but it's getting close. So I'm getting very close to having one page finished. And next is Epic Pokemon Gen 1, which is from Lord Libidin. I also have a baby start on this because, okay, these two, I think I started in the same year. I did Flossmas one year, and I had like 4 or 5 new starts. And those new starts never really got very much progress in. So this was one of the ones from like a Flossmas start. I haven't done a lot. It's on a 28 count 2/1 half cross. And yeah, it's not a focus piece right now. I would like to get some other things finished that are closer to being finished. And then eventually I do hope to make room to have a better rotation where I can start working on some of these pieces that haven't got a lot done. So the next one, which we are getting close to the bottom, I think I only have like 5 left. The next one is Piper Boy. It's another Gecko Rouge. I can't remember the artist on this one though, and I think this was another one of a Flossmas start, so it didn't get a lot done. I started in the center of this one, and then I worked my way up to the top last year because I do like to stitch top down more than stitching from the center and working like out. I like filling in like down, top down. And this is on a 28 count 2/1 half cross, and this is one where I don't think it'll be a focus piece until I'm working on Little Gamer. I would like to get Fables finished, which is another Gecko Rouge, and then this would be coming out after that, so it's a ways back in my queue, like in my line that I have in my head, so it won't be worked on very much for a while probably. Next is Mini Masquerade Pale Dawn, which is a piece from Heaven and Earth Designs. I think the artist is Adele Sessler, and I love this one because it's another one of those ones that doesn't use a ton of colors, and it's just got like really like fun like flowery areas in the background. I love it. It's like a fantasy looking chart kind of, and I am stitching this one on a pink fabric because the edges aren't straight, so like that's the way the edge is going to be, so you're going to see some of the fabric once it's fully finished. So I wanted to do it on something that would be like fun to show through, and I also wanted the color to be a color where the white would be easy to stitch. I hate stitching white on white fabric, so I knew that with all these light colors I did not want to use a white fabric. So there's this. All I've done so far, this is page 1. Another one where all I've done is like 1 page. It's pretty sad. Next is Dark Cinderella, which is artwork by Barrett Big, I can't remember. I'll put it here somewhere. And it's charted by Pain Free Crafts, and another small baby start. This was stitched for a New Year, New Start. I can't remember what year. There was one year and I had 2 new starts. I did a New Year's Eve start and then a New Year's Day start, and they both don't have a lot done. And this is one of them. This is on 32 count 1/1 half cross. I haven't done that much. I was stitching it diagonally, and then I realized that it would make more sense to stitch it going over and then going down, because like this section here with the dark colors, it just goes straight down. So it doesn't make sense to go diagonal because the colors end up ending a lot. So there was that, and then I have 2 more. This one was one of the other starts of my New Year's Eve, New Year's Day start when this one got started. It's Lord of the Rings from Glitch Stitch AU. I mentioned I love their charts. And this one is not that big. I think it's 30,000 stitches, so I need to just eventually focus on it, get it done, as I keep saying. And this is on 22 count, 1/1 full cross. I started using all the black. I was going to do extreme cross country by color, black first, and then I got tired because like at the bottom portion I think there's less black, and so it started to get kind of like spread out. So then I started filling in some of the yellow, and I think I'll just start filling in colors as I go the next time I work on it. And the last chart, the last one, is Disneyland map, charted by Xana Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I started this one in the middle, which I mentioned I don't really like stitching from the middle, but I had a reason for stitching this one in the middle, and it's because in the middle you start with the castle. So boom, Disneyland map, I started with the castle, and the way I'm stitching this one is I would like to stitch like building by building. So right now I'm doing the castle, and then I might work up to try and get to the top, so like stitch whatever's above it and just go that way. And I do love this piece so much, even if it takes me forever to stitch. I am stitching it on 18 count, 2/1 full cross. I am stitching it on a purpley fabric because I went to Disneyland when it was Disney's 100th anniversary. Not Disneyland's 100th anniversary, but Disney the company. And the colors that they used for the anniversary were like platinum and purples and blues. So that was why I dyed the fabric to be like these colors. And yeah, I love it. I love purples anyways. So here is Disneyland map. And that's all that I have done. That is my last WIP, which like I said, I'm at 31 WIPs right now. I do want to WIP down, not start a lot of new things. I have plans to get at least 2 things finished this year, which is Autumn Harmony and Little Gamer, which would put me under 30 WIPs, which I would be super happy about. And yeah, like I already know I have a ton of WIPs. That is something I know. I got a little out of control. I think when you're doing floss tube, and then also I think there was a period of time where everyone was starting things, like Stitch Mania was a huge thing where so many people were doing it, and I feel like a lot of the people who used to do it a lot aren't even on YouTube anymore. So like there was Stash Queen and some other people who would do it a lot, and they would do like 31 new starts for May, and I feel like it was just something that was very easy to get sucked into, which is part of why I ended up with so many WIPs. But I am trying to like change. I'm trying to reform, and I would like to definitely make a lot more progress on these pieces, because seeing them only have like less than a page finished is sad to see, because I would like to see all of these stitched up eventually, even though I know that's most likely not going to happen. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming to my WIP parade. I hope you enjoyed it, and like I said, I will mention in my next update video the 2 that I quit and why I quit them, but I don't want to mention it here. So I actually filmed the whole video, and then I was going back to edit it, and then I realized that I had said that I would talk about something at the end about why I'm not trying to set too many cross-stitching goals, and that is because I would like to try and do other hobbies this year that I also, you know, have things for. So like sewing. I have a sewing machine. I bought patterns and fabric and things like that. I would like to try and sew more. I also knit. I also have been trying to actually read more books on my Kindle because I have a Kindle. I also have physical books that I haven't read, and so yes, I can listen to audiobooks, but I already own some books that are physical or ebooks and things like that, and it's also different. So I do like audiobooks, but I also take in information different when I read it versus listen to it. So I got Onyx Storm. I'd mentioned that. I am very excited about Onyx Storm. I decided that I was going to read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, because when I first listened to them, I listened to audiobooks, and so then I was like, I would like to refresh, you know, catch back up on the story, and also read the physical books. So I am reading them, okay, not the physical, they're ebooks. I'm reading them on my Kindle because I have Kindle Unlimited, and so I would like, you know, to actually spend more time doing other hobbies than just cross-stitching. Also video games. I got a video game for Christmas. I got Dragon Age Veilguard, which I still need to play, and then I also have an extensive collection of video games that I don't play very much because I'm always cross-stitching. So I need to try and balance hobbies better and, you know, spend time doing other things that I love that aren't just cross-stitching. So I do expect my numbers for this year might be a little bit lower than previous years. Like last year, I think I did over 200,000 stitches for the year. That was a little crazy. The year before, I think I did 180,000 cross stitches for 2023. and I don't know what it's going to be this year, and I just would like it to be a number where I am still fitting in other things than just cross stitch, because there's more to life than just stitching. I do love stitching, but I also love other things too. So that is all that I was going to add, and now I will finally end the video. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!